Hintay lang tayo sandali ng mga magjo-join pa because this live stream is a little bit late actually. We're supposed to do a live stream last night, but for some weird reason, I feel very tired. So I ask I ask everyone if gusto nyo bang mag-live stream tayo or not, and 50-50 yung initial na mga nag-votes on the IG Instagram poll that I did, and kalaunan parang mas dumami yung no na nag-votes na magpahinga muna last night, so that today mas fresh and mas may mas may energy tayo to do the live stream. So for tonight, let me give everyone a run through of what's going to happen for tonight. We will be talking 5 key points for this live stream. So the first is we will discuss yung mga ladies that had to back out versus the ladies na bumalik because of kanilang situation, whether it's because of COVID or the lack of finances or financial help from their organizations. We will be talking about what is the Miss Universe organization looking for under the JKN Global organization. I think that's a very that's a very important na discussion that we need to talk about, because there's a lot of speculation on what are the things that is going to change in terms of the selection of winners. And then we will be talking about Anne JKN's post on her Instagram, I believe. I think it's Insta because I was able to screenshot it earlier. I wasn't able to post it on my IG stories, but I intended to do that. Nakalimutan ko lang. I just simply forgot because there was a lot of things that I need to do today in preparation for this live stream, as well as in preparation for some other stuff that I am doing later on. Okay, and then we will be talking about the standouts on the Portia Scarlett opening dresses. A number of candidates actually have already posted their Portia Scarlett dresses with the very futuristic changing color changing na backdrop. We have listed, I think, 3, 6, 7 standouts in our list. Who were the ones that we think really showed personality, sino yung mga nag-stand out for us, whether it's in terms of beauty, in terms of arrive and presence with their Portia and Scarlett na opening mga videos. And then I will be tackling some observations on the Miss Universe pageant this year, and ano yung mga napapansin kong mga nagkakaroon ng patterns. So those are the things that we will be discussing for this live stream tonight. Today kung sa inyong lugar, wherever you are in the world, it's daytime. But I think for this live stream, we will be focusing on the conversation later on what is the new organization looking for in terms of a Miss Universe winner. Kasi I think there's a lot of contention between pageant fans on what exactly are they looking for. There have been very nasty comments whenever we post on the accomplishments about the backdrops and backstories, behind the scenes na stories ng mga girls. And I feel that all of these nasty comments come from a place of insecurity, and we need to break down kung bakit ganun yung mga comments na yon, and why it is important for us to understand what are the things that the new Miss organization or owner is looking for, so that we have a more understanding, I believe, on what to look for. Because I think all of those nasty and very hateful and very instigating na mga comments on social media, it comes from a place of ignorance. It comes from a place where they don't understand what is exactly the organization looking for in a winner. And if we are able to explain and understand yung mga pronouncements before ng organization in their social media, in their what do you call this, in their mga events, live events and interviews and public appearances, what they see, or rather what they showcase and what they say about what they're looking for. We need to understand ano yung mga points that might help us understand better the organization and what are they exactly looking for in a winner. Okay? So, bago ang lahat, pa-attendance muna tayo. Hello, Daniel. Good evening. I think Ben Hernandez is also here. Jeff Tuna is here as well. I hope na sana you like and subscribe to my channel dun sa mga bagong dating para lumago yung ating community here in YouTube. Okay, so unahin na muna natin sa conversation on the news earlier, the biggest news earlier this morning na lahat tayo kinda nagulat because there is this national director who I think had a miscommunication with regards to what the Miss Universe is looking for, or what is the Miss Universe format this year. Naging source ng mga Latin pages in terms of the news na lumabas na magkakaroon ng regional grouping or ng continental grouping this year. Fortunately, Paula Sugar, I think within the space of an hour or a couple of hours, was able to clarify that statement, and she managed to clarify that there will be no regional or continental grouping this year, and that we're actually moving past that. What is clear though is the video na kumakalat that has been leaked, or rather has been taped during the rehearsals. And in that video, all of the girls who are wearing capes for their swimsuit competition, binilang ng mga fans, binilang ng mga admins kung ilan yung mga girls who were donning the capes for the swimsuit competition na rehearsal. And apparently, the number stops at 16. And that means that yung original pronouncement of the Miss Universe organization that it's going to be a cut for a top 20, and then a top 10, a top 5, and a top 3, is narrowed down to just a top 16. Now, what could have had happened from the time na they made the announcement it's going to be a top 20 versus now na they are looking for a top 16? I think there are possibly two reasons for that. One, it's either that the broadcaster, NBC Universal, would have a hand in it by telling them that you are only given, let's say, 2 hours or 3 hours in terms of the time slot that you can occupy for your broadcast. So that means that if you have a lot of content to show within that 3-hour or 2-hour broadcast, you need to space your time quite well and manage it so that hindi ka mag-overboard or hindi ka mag-overtime. So, one of the things that is easily manageable in terms of block time is narrowing down or expanding your semifinalists. Kasi kumakain sila ng oras. They eat up precious broadcast time, whether you want to expand it or you want to shorten the exposure of the candidates. Now, if for example, you have a lot of things that you want to put into your broadcast, and it happens that you only have like a limited number of minutes to do so, you are now tasked to reduce your number of semifinalists, so that if, for example, if a 20 semifinalists would eat maybe around 8 minutes or 10 minutes of airtime, yung 16 might only eat up at around 15 or 14. the extra minutes that you've saved, you can either allocate it for advertisement, which adds, adds revenue to the organization, or you can allocate that towards other, much more important announcements with regards to the pageant itself. So it's just time management that could have made the shift from a top 20 to a top 16. Or another possibility is that there is a directive from the heads of the organization to narrow it down to 16 because they want to put more, value in terms of content in their finals. So that means that they really have to sacrifice, certain minutes of their airtime that they are able to, put in more, video content or pre-taped content that would allow the broadcast to have a more probably entertaining or information driven na content. So that's the two possible scenarios that I am seeing why there is a narrowing down of a top 20 to a top 16 this year. Ayan. Tingin muna tayo ng mga comments before we continue kasi I think there are some bagong viewers, new viewers here. And let's do a shout out muna, okay? AJ Baay, present, iniwan ko muna live nila Luis at Tita L. Ikaw muna, Sir Jess. Thank you, AJ. I didn't know that they have also a live session now. So I am sure yung content nila and yung content namin hindi magkakapareho because we have quite different attacks on pageant, the pageant itself. So I'm hoping na mag-enjoy kayo dito sa live stream natin ngayon. So thank you AJ for the support. Ayan. Sandali lang. Francis Conanan says hello, kumusta po? Kumusta? Sabi niya advance congrats kay Miss Philippines. I think Celeste is gradually easing into the competition. So maganda yung nangyayari ngayon that I think mas may konfiyansa na tayo when it comes to her chances in the competition as we grow nearer towards the preliminaries. Kasi sa preliminaries, if you don't know, I think they are still using the 2016 na format where 60%, I believe, of the entire scores of the candidates is based on their personality interviews. And the remaining 40, there's a split between the 2020 of the evening gown and the swimsuit competition. So there. I'm also very excited kung ano yung magiging itsura of the swimsuits because the new is designed by Aguilera with her swimsuit label or swimsuit brand J by Jacqueline Aguilera. And the reason why I'm excited for this is because one, the swimsuit looks different or looks too boxy when it was laid flat on the table. Unlike the I forgot the 2020 sponsor of the swimwear, where even if it's laid flat, you would know that the cuts are very sexy. This time around with Jacqueline's swimsuit line, I think the focus is not on the cut, but rather on how it will fit on the bodies of the ladies, and that's what I am excited for. Kasi it might look boxy and flat when it comes to to the photos that we've seen on the registration, but it might look better when it is already worn. So with the pronouncement of Anne JKN that she wants the swimsuit competition to be a showcase of fitness and health rather than being sexy, I think that's something that we need to look upon on. And here's another thing. Isa sa mga, I'd better explain it in English. Okay. One of the things that I am really impressed with Jacqueline Aguilera sponsoring the swimwear line for Miss Universe this year is the fact that because of her association with the Miss Venezuela organization and being a sponsor at Miss Universe, there is a conflict of interest between her directorship with Miss Venezuela and her sponsorship of the Miss Universe organization. So what she did was she effectively resigned her position at the Miss Venezuela organization so that there is no conflict of interest when she sponsors the Miss Universe organization. So which tells me that the Miss Venezuela organization has a very, reputable, or rather, has a very honest way of dealing with things, with dealing with these issues, so that if in case that Venezuela wins or Venezuela becomes a top 3 contender in the Miss Universe and ends up as a runner-up in the Miss Universe later on, there is no association that people will say that the reason why Venezuela placed high is because of the sponsorship of a national director. So that for me spells delicadeza in big block letters. I think that is very impressive. That is very, it spells integrity with regards to Jacqueline Aguilera. So parang palakpakan natin siya for that. That deserves a round of applause because that takes guts to give up something that is so big in your country in order for you to not have that kind of icky relationship if nagpatuloy yon. So kudos talaga for such showcase of integrity on Jacqueline Aguilera. Now, let's proceed sa mga ibang mga comments. Wait a minute. I think we're done with Francis na comment. I think we're with Lemuel235. Okay, sabi niya, hello Sir Jason. Medyo sabay kayo sa live ngayon ni Luis Porteles. Anyway, I hope the owner and Jacker Jotate will reveal a more detailed info on the format with more clarity. I agree kasi medyo nakaka-shock rather that we're all set with the top 20 and then suddenly it's narrowed down to top 15 because essentially what will happen is that 15 spots will be selected by the judges and organization and that one extra spot is going to be selected by the fan votes na paid voting system. So that means that mas lalong sumikip yung what do you call this, yung playing field. It gets tighter. The spots becomes more precious because it's a little bit more competitive to make top 15 as compared to make a top 20. I think that the top 20 is something that at this point a lot of fans like myself, a lot of pageant admins have been accustomed to ever since that it was announced several weeks ago. So having like the rug pulled under you and you're suddenly shocked and surprised with this new development, it probably means that they are making this edition more competitive for the ladies. So wait lang, inom lang ako sandali habang anuhan ako nakukulangan ako ng laway. So anyway, with that in mind, I think it's a good problem that the slots are narrower, that you only have 15 that you will be selected by the organization and the judges. But I also think that sayang because I really wanted the less popular countries who are deserving to make top 20, to make semis this year, because there's a lot of beautiful faces in this year's competition that could really spell a change in results later on. So imagine if someone like, let's say, ano bang sash factor country na hindi natin masyado, for example, like Mexico. Mexico doesn't make it versus, let's say, a non-sash factor na country making it. parang nasasayangan tayo doon sa placement na sana nakuha ni Mexico, instead of the the spot that, for example, a European country would have made it, simply because of let's say continental grouping, kung natuloy ang continental grouping. So I think that if the top 15 or top 16, let's say, all front runner ladies are in, and then suddenly you have maybe one or two girls that you thought should have made it into the semis and did not make it. It feels like mabigat sa loob, kasi na inilaban din ng girl yung possible placement. Especially if you are invested doon sa journey nung candidate na yon. So I'm hoping that they would still change their minds last minute, although I don't think that they would, because if sa ngayon they are already rehearsing a top 16, then it is most probably that we will only have a top 16 this year. So sabi ni Ben Hernandez, labanan talaga para sa top 16. Sobrang daming Diyosa this year. I agree. And even some of the candidates na hindi natin napapansin, sobrang ganda. Okay, so David Acevedo Torres is shouting out for Puerto Rico for Ashley Ann Carino. So Ashley is one of those girls with a STEM background that I featured in my write-up earlier last week, with regards to the Caribbean girls having really packed and meaty resumes. Nico Veneracion, Present Sir Jason. Hello Nico. I hope na hindi ko nagambala ang gabi ninyo, because it's a work week. Sabi ni Nico, ano kung tingin niyo sa stage? Parang ang liit, no? But ang lalaki ng LEDs. I want to look at it on the broadcast and on the prelims muna. The reason for that is because if you remember in 2014, the Miss Universe is actually the Miss Universe pageant. The finals and the preliminaries were actually staged in a very small basketball court inside the I forgot what school was that. It was the university in Florida, and in the what do you call this, in the scheme on TV, it looks very very huge, but actually on site, it's actually very small as compared to, let's say, the stage in Bangkok was really massive as compared to the one in 2014. However, on stage, on the live broadcast, it looks like the stage on the screen, on a wider screen, what we see on our phones. So the social media, I think it was an Instagram reel that showcased the stage in NOLA. I think we need to reserve judgment. We need to see it. Okay. Komentary na wala yung ating internet. Okay. Nico says, ang daming deserving this year. I'm so sad sa Mael Kuya. Agree. The downside to being popular in Miss Universe is that you're also a huge target for a possible El Tocuyo na non-placement. Ayan. Prelims talaga magkakaalamanan. Do you have any knowledge po ba regarding the theme of the production this year? Definitely going to be Mardi Gras. I've heard doon sa rehearsals nila, parang may alam niyo naman ang Mardi Gras. There's a lot of trumpet sounds in the music used for in New Orleans. So I'm expecting a lot of trumpets, a lot of brass na instruments to be used in the music for the finals and even for the preliminaries. Daniel P. Yuson Jr. says, "Hi guys, pa-share naman po ng live stream sa mga supplements ninyo. Salamat." And smiley face. Thank you, Daniel. Guys, I hope that you like and subscribe in our channel and share this live stream to your friends so that more can join us in today's live sentiments mo po. Thank you, Orphia. I think that's the beauty of the Sashes&Scripts community in Instagram and other social media platforms as well, because about that another internet. As I was saying, in Sashes&Scripts, even if we are of different opinions, we are of different perspectives, it actually enriches us a lot more when we are able to enunciate and opinions in a respectful and conversational manner, where we are able to say what we think without fear of being attacked. And that is also why I made the decision of urging a lot of followers on my Instagram account. In fact, yung mga comments that have been very entitled, have been very very abrasive in nature, I have restricted them for quite a long time already. A lot of what you see on social media, especially on our Instagram feed, have already been filtered. We allow certain comments to appear if it does not use, some very controversial words. Slurs that has the S, the N, the P, and the PI words are automatically filtered. And anyone who uses those words in our social media accounts, they're automatically restricted. So even if comments sila na comments, hindi siya lumalabas, hindi nyo siya nababasa. So imagine the type of comments that you read, that yung mga comments would be inflammatory without substantive value to it. And I think that's the reason why I made the decision that over the weekend, I actually spent like 36 hours purging several accounts from our Instagram feed, so that starting this week we have a more respective and respectful way of communicating with each other. And I think that's very important, especially when you want to have a community, you want to have a space where thoughtful communications, well thought out arguments are normal. You don't want what we don't want is to have this very entitledness in the way that we speak when it comes to our thoughts and opinions, as if it's your own, it's your opinion that is the only opinion that matters. That is why if you look at our feed lately, mas yapa, there's more peaceful way of exchange of thoughts and opinions, and exchange of perspectives, because we made that decision to purge those accounts that are not helping us develop as mature pageant fans. So there. Piper Uref, thank you for the heart. Magkakilala si Daniel at saka si Piper. Ayan. Dorothy V. Jones, sabi niya, fans should focus on Celeste and her extraordinary way of capturing our pageant hearts instead of finding fault in Brian Javier. I just think it's too petty. Again, Dorothy, that's one of the reasons why nag-purge tayo ng mga accounts, because there are a lot of people who immediately act offensive and defensive when it comes to criticisms about our candidates. And it's not just for Celeste. It applies also to any other Filipina candidate. I think their opinions are valid, but how we react is something that we can control. Kung papatusin natin yung mga patutsada ng iba, that only speaks on our immaturity, on the way that we argue. Because if we cannot give them, very intelligent, comebacks or very well thought out responses to what they've put out, then that's on us. It's not on them. It only feeds, their viewership, their popularity if we are inflamed. So instead of attacking, then why can't we offer a perspective where we can convince them to agree with our viewpoint? Why not that kind of attack instead, diba? That way you don't attack and lose a potential nakakampi, and you might even be able to convert them into believers, to comrades, di ba? You can convert them into mga people and fans that would help you, promote the candidate that you are trying to promote. So there, that is what I am trying to aim to do with our Sashes&Scripts na community, whether it's here on Instagram or it's on YouTube or on the blog. Kasi gusto ko na there is a place where intelligent conversation happens. So there. Becky Blanco, hi y'all. Seeing you here in our live stream, so welcome. Piper Uref, walang share button. I don't know kung saan ang share button. I think you have to be on laptop yata if para you can share it. I'm not sure because on phone I don't think you can share on mobile. G Manila, hi. Okay, wait lang. Hi po, any tips on how we can watch the prelims aside from the Lazada app? Block daw YouTube Live for Philippines. Hintayin nyo kasi meron, I'm sure na merong magbo-bootleg na mga accounts na magbo-bootleg na na live stream later on. I think naka-schedule by tomorrow yung oras dito sa Pilipinas. I think it's around 9 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So check out pag na-i-post ko na. There. Art Loren, hola friend. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I think it's morning there. So good morning there in Europe. I hope you're fine. I hope na libre ka ngayon na ang araw mo ngayon para makapanood ng ating live stream. Okay, Daniel P. Yusan says, Miss Piper nasa gilid ng thumbs up button. Okay, there. Daniel P. Yusan also says, Sir Jessa, nag-negative na po sa COVID si Miss Curacao. Your thoughts and answers, please. Okay, the thing that I was actually thinking of including in our conversation today is yung situation ni na Latvia and Curacao. Latvia, like Miss Curacao, actually tested positive for COVID-19 before even flying to NOLA. And what's so sad about that is that we are actually losing a very, a very strong contender, I believe, because looking at her profile, she is one of those girls that have a impressive na profile, being a chess grandmaster. She also practices Muay Thai. She is on her youth and when she was still studying, she participates with linguistics and mathematics na Olympiad. So you know that this is a girl who is very competitive. If you are at a nationals level na mga Olympiads, and the mere fact that nakadikit sa pangalan mo is Miss Latvia, chess grandmaster, I think that's an achievement that's worth boasting about. I'm sad for her because she's not able to fly and compete at Miss Universe. I am hoping though that her organization might give her a shot in 2023 edition, the 72nd Miss Universe edition, so that she can compete and experience the Miss Universe stage. Now, with regards to Curacao, I was really sad when she was diagnosed with COVID-19, and I was hoping that within the 5 days quarantine period, she tests negative later on prior to the preliminaries on the 12th dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Thankfully, nag-negative siya. And the reason for that is because I think that if you're looking at the girls from the Caribbean this year, they are one of the batches of, or a regional group of girls that really has a strong either academic or personal na achievements in terms of their stories, in terms of their accomplishments in life. And the reason why I am extra extra excited for Curaçao is because I believe that the last time that they made semis was in 2018 and 2015, and their placement far in between their last placement in 1997, I believe, and up until now, parang it's very mabibilang in just one hand. So I am really hoping that this time around, the Miss Universe organization would really give, attention on the Caribbean girls and what they're bringing into the table, so that they have, equal chances of competing and winning Miss Universe in the competition this year. I think Gabriela dos Santos is one of those girls that could easily break top 20. And I am hoping that now that it's only a top 16, she won't be overlooked by the organization in favor of those countries that have stronger na sash factor. So there. Thank you, Piper Uref. Thank you very much for subscribing. Lemel 23.5. We are sending a very unique and different candidate with Celeste. She's not like any queens that we had in the past, like Tita Lavinia said. She's not a Kat, not a Pia. She's more Gabriela Isler. I agree. There is a comparison. I think it was not Tita who originated that comparison. I think it was Danny Walker who first mentioned that. So, and I think Tita picking up on that is something na something na tumatak din sa isip ng mga fans, simply because si Celeste very behind the scenes yung galawan, and I'm hoping that she's able to translate all her strengths in stage from the preliminary competition, kasi the prelims, I believe dyan magkakatalo-talo. Statistically, you have bigger chances of making top 5 between a competition of 10 girls versus making top 15 in a competition of a field of 84 girls. Kumbaga, mas malaki yung chances mong mag-top 5 kapag nasa top 10 ka versus mag-top 15 or top 16 in a field of 84 girls. So, ganun kalaki yung kinakailangan mong patumbahin in terms of statistics wise. Okay, so I'm hoping that even if we have already a strong sash factor, Celeste is one of the most physically stunning girls that we've sent in Miss Universe. We do not be complacent and not play safe in terms of performance, in terms of how we are going to compete later on. Kasi the moment that you become complacent, that's when other girls will suddenly surprise you. So there. Becky Blanco, sabi niya, Jason, thanks for taking the initiative to really level up pageant discourse by discussing, analyzing, and sharing information that are veritable and objective. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you, Becky Lou. I'm trying. I am really trying, because these are the kinds of perspectives that other bloggers and other pageant pages and media men do not offer. And I think being the one who fills that gap is something that I really cherish, especially if the compliments come from you guys. Pag nanggagaling sa inyo na mga mga intelihente ng mga pageant fans ang nagsasabi. Of course, my intention from the very beginning is that um, the Sashes&Scripts na space is a space where intelligent pageant fans converge. So that has always been, my goal with my writing, with my now YouTubing. Yun yung aim ko, is to have a place and a space where intelligent pageant fans gather together and magbatuhan ng kuro-kuro in a respectful and in a very intelligent manner. So thank you, Kilo. Jane Arzado, hello Miss Jane, how are you? Kumusta? Thank you for joining us sa ating live stream today. What's your take po na malalang European candidates kasi Asian, even Latin countries? That's the thing, that lahat ng mga Europeans collectively malalakas, because from Miss Jane, maano tayo, mabebembang tayo ng mga fans sa sasabihin ko. Here's the thing, I don't think actually that Asia is the strongest group this year. Pardon me for saying that. I think my what I see from a bird's eye view on this is that Asia, Africa, and Europe, they have certain countries that are strong, but they also have a lot of countries that are weak, whether it's seen in their profile, whether it's seen in their social media, or seen in the way that interact during the competition. I am hoping that come preliminaries, that perspective of mine would change. Because right now, what I see as a collective group that is strong in Miss Universe are actually the Latin Americans and the North and Latin American girls. I think that there is a huge possibility that without the continental grouping, we might see, I don't know, 8 or 9 Latinas in the semifinals this year. That is how strong they are as a collective group. So I am hoping that come preliminaries, all the Asian girls, European girls, and African girls really give their all in the on stage. Kasi they cannot be complacent there. They cannot allow themselves to be very easy going along the flow type of competitors. Uhaw ang mga Latina for another win. So I think everyone really, whether you're a Latina, you're a European, or you're an African candidate, everyone really needs to step up in the competition. Okay, dali lang. Nauubusan na naman ako ng I'm having issues with dry throat ngayon because kanina pa ako kape ng kape just to keep para hindi ako antukin, because there was a lot of things to be done, even on school. Okay, Luther Hermosa says, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Italy, Peru, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Colombia, and the Philippines. Yes, I think those are strong girls. Gion Cristan, bakit po wala sa radar si Celeste? I don't know if you would say na putting her on a list of girls na nasa pangwalo siya is wala sa radar. I think that's a common misconception. I think that's a common step or misunderstanding among fans. Just because we did not include Celeste in our top 7, that doesn't mean that she's not on our radar. It only means that in a field of strong girls, may mga girls na mas nag-stand out because of what they put in their profile. And I think that is the reason why a lot of fans did not appreciate us telling that Celeste is only number 8 in our list, because when we had a live stream with Mark Sobrajahani, last December, towards the end of December, we made clear during our live stream that um, the basis for and I think that it was a misstep on Celeste not to really beef up what she has done throughout her reign as Miss Universe Philippines on her profile, because I think that the Miss Universe profile that you publish on the website is essentially your resume. It's like your written resume that you submit to your prospective employers. Kung doon pa lang sa resume, hindi mo ma-articulate lahat ng mga achievements, lahat ng mga qualifications and skills that you have, that's on you, because they will not ask you to clarify. They would not ask you to what do you call this, to ano pa yung mga nagawa mo, what else have you accomplished, because that's the analogy there. Hopefully in the one-on-one interviews, makabawi si Celeste doon sa individual panel na interviews sa mga individual girls in the competition, kasi if I am a judge and what I see only is on the binder that is provided by the Miss Universe organization that compiles the photos as well as the bios of the girls, if hindi malaman yung nilagay mo doon sa profile mo, then I might scroll past you and look at other girls. Yun lang yung punto namin kung bakit wala siya doon sa listahan ng 7 na front runners that we discussed. And also, I think we need to start thinking and start being less entitled, that not every time kinakailangan lahat ng mga Filipino vloggers would have to put our bets in number 1 or number 2 or number whatever, number 5, whatever list we have. I am trying to provide a very objective and a very well thought out presentation of what are the things that I thought when it comes to the bios of the girl, when it comes to the profiles of the girl. And I think, yung the mere fact na nagagalit yung iba sa atin na bakit wala sa listahan si ganito, si Miss Philippines, that showcases, how entitled we have become. And I think that's something we really need to be mindful of, because that is something that would ultimately be the downfall for us. We need to remind ourselves that there is a universal audience out there who thinks that hindi umiikot ang mundo ng pageantry only sa mga Filipino fans. So I just hope that if our girl is not in the top 5 of somebody else's list, we don't automatically attack that person or attack that page. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And as long as respectful yung pagkakalahad nila nung kanilang thoughts and opinions, I don't think that there is a reason for us to attack that person or have very inflammatory comments against that person. I don't think nobody deserves to be attacked simply because they have a well thought out, intelligent discourse on pageantry. So there. The unofficial India Beauty Queen, Divita Rai, back to back, outstanding from India. Divita Rai is one of those girls that we've featured in our list of the best faces in Miss Universe. So I hope that you can go later on into our YouTube channel, and click I think it's on the upper right corner, to check out our blog site. There. I think we've listed around 18 girls who we think are among the best faces in the Miss Universe this year. Luther Hermosa, watch out, the Dominican Republic. She's a good speaker. Katakot paabutin sa top 5. I have an upcoming article on several girls that includes Dominican Republic, so please stay tuned for that. Rodwin Fiel, hi Sir Jason, present po, kakauwi ko lang po from work. So pang-distress ko yung live mo tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Rodin. I hope na ma-enjoy mo itong live stream natin ngayon. Limwell says, Sir Jason, what are your thoughts on the preliminaries and coronation finals stage for Miss Universe? Any violent reactions to the stage? Are you happy, satisfied, or are you looking for more? I'm looking for it. Titignan ko muna siya, Lemuel, once that it's on a larger screen kapag broadcast na. Because it's too early to tell whether you like it or not ang isang bagay, and it's not yet finished, fully finished. So I want to see the stage and experience the stage with all the lights, with all the sounds, because I think that adds into the experience rather than make very hasty generalizations based on what we see on social media right now. So Andy 465, hi Jason, listening mode nowadays lang. Hello Andy, thank you. Even if it's just if you just listening through your earpods. So thank you for joining us. Briggs Adriano Peña, afraid for Celeste, baka pati mga judge na insecure sa kanya, di siya paabutin na sa top 5. Speaking of judges pala, huwag muna tayong, let's not be scared or let's not be worried because we need to feel out first who are the judging panel this year before jumping into conclusions, because that's one of the reasons why we don't want to make assumptions or we don't want to make hasty judgments this year, because there's a lot of unknown factors, in an equation of looking for a Miss Universe. There are a lot of unknown elements still at this point that we still need to figure out what are those unknown elements and what they are about. When we start to jump into conclusions without adequate evidence, without with only our intuition and with only our read and interpretation of things, those are inadequate to come into a really succinct conclusion. So let us wait and see until we've seen the panel of judges before we say that this is not in favor of us. This is in favor of something else. Before we go to that conclusion, let's just wait for the judging panel first, okay? Because we don't want to be worrying where the factors that we are worrying about is totally out of our control, or we don't have a say in it. Let's react once we have all the elements in place and we see the image, big picture, large scale picture before attacking anything. Because the moment that we make assumptions on things that are not yet known, fear of the unknown kasi is the weakest area na nadadali tayo eh. So there. Dion Kristan, babalikan ko to pag di nagtama ang iyong prediction niyo po. Respect. Okay. If you say so. The thing kasi is, whether or not tumama kami sa prediction, nagbabago ang gusto ng judges. Depending on sino yung magiging judge. And I would not say that I am a perfect predictor of an outcome, simply because one, hindi ako manghuhula. So I am only looking at it based on the things that I see, based on the things that I can observe. If tumama sa prediction, well and good. Kung hindi, okay lang din naman. It does not really affect me that much because at the end of the day, if I feel that the girl that is crowned by the pageant is deserving, wala kayong magiging sa akin. So there. Luther Hermosa, Dark Horse, Mauritius. You know what? I haven't been paying attention to Mauritius and certain girls in Africa and Europe. So I will be starting to looking again at their profiles because I might have just missed them. I think Florian Basco of France is one of those girls na baka kinakailangan kong pagtuunan pa ng pansin. So there. Andy, Philippines cannot be complacent nowadays. Every country has to step up talaga. Even the Latin countries have already moved on from the Trump era. European girls are like sleeping giants who just woke up. Declo Blanco is saying, I see Dominican Republic is on an upward trajectory. Agree. Nakita nyo ba yung kanyang black na outfit today? The one with, I believe it was a satin, and I'm not sure if it was velvet or it was crepe de chine na gown, but yung unusual, yung neckline, ganda niya doon. Napansin siya actually. Dorothy V. Jones, I'd like to encourage fans to protect positive energy towards our representative. She's doing her part. Let's do ours. I agree. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Jane Arzadon, pageant vloggers must be objective. Spot on, Sir Jason. Thank you, Jane. Nasaan na ba tayo? Okay, let's pause muna doon sa mga comments because apparently it's already 57 minutes into our live stream and hindi pa natin na discuss yung points that I have listed on our notebook. So, let's go first doon sa what is the Miss Universe organization looking for or probably looking for. During the One Universe press event several weeks back, nabanggit doon that there will be like 8 sources of income for the Miss Universe organization. And one of those things that they have mentioned are products that the organization, that JKN Global, is going to release. They mentioned that they are looking for the possibility of launching a mineral water, Miss Universe mineral water brand, and then a beauty or cosmetics line. With that being said, then we can immediately deduce from that face or beauty of face is something that they are going to be looking for in a winner. So it means na kinakailangan pretty girl, kinakailangan pwede siyang mag-endorse ng produkto. Kinakailangan na yung kanyang what do you call this? Kanyang overall na look is something that can endorse products. So she needs to be very commercial. Essentially, that is what is what we can deduce from that pronouncement during the One Universe event. When you are someone who is commercially viable and commercially, can serve different markets, that's an advantage for you as a possible Miss Universe winner. So I think klaro tayo doon. Then the next is she needs to be at least socially aware or is involved in her community, but that is not the end all and be all of what they're looking for, because this year nagbabalik yung Impact Wave na award and Impact Wave na app where certain community activities of the girls are given special whoever wins the special award will be given I think a token of $10,000 for that community or for that I don't know, charity or organization. So we need to find a girl who is socially active, who is also at the same time very on the Miss Universe brand when it comes to their advocacies and when it comes to their social responsibility projects. And that is why this year a lot of the girls that you see in their profiles and in their bios have activities that is either related to mental health. Celeste is part of the Mind Nation na mental health group. We have candidates who are sponsoring or rather involved with Smile Train. Colombia, Great Britain, and I believe Thailand is some of those girls that are affiliated with the what do you call this, with the Smile Train na brand in their respective countries. And then we also have several girls who are either advocates for sustainability, which is very on brand lately with Miss Universe. We have Venezuela and the US really hitting the nail on that aspect. And then we have all other girls who are busy with other social responsibility projects. So it needs to be or rather the candidates needs to be involved in their communities, needs to be involved with something larger than themselves. Because if we are going to again to think about what an inspirational leader transformational leader means, they need to be leaders in their community. Because based on the leadership na word alone, they need to be inspirational and aspirational on that aspect. So that means they should be involved into something that is larger than themselves. Then it was also mentioned numerously in different interviews of NJKN that the Miss Universe winner that she's looking for needs to prove herself, needs to be performance based. So if she does well on stage, on the prelims, on the finals, then she can be Miss Universe. So yun, klaro yun. Hindi kinakailangan ng interpretasyon. We don't need to read too much into that. She needs to perform, period. And then the final thing that really gets us questioning on what is the new organization or rather new ownership looking for is yung phrase na transformational leader. It's the transformational that is, that throws us into a frenzy. Kasi hindi natin ma-define kung ano yung tipo at ehemplo ng transformational leader na hinahanap. So I think that is an area where it really pays attention that you have a meaty background to showcase, to what do you call this, to include in your bio, to include in your interviews later on. Because if you are able to explain why you are a transformational leader, whether it's through your educational achievements, whether it's through personal achievements, whether it's it's being affiliated with the United Nations Children's Fund or UNICEF, sorry, or whether it's having a affiliation with the National Autism na organization in your country, that is something that you need to include into your resume so that you have talking points later on. Kumbaga, kung malaman na yung resume mo, all you need to do is to talk about it and explain, what have you done and what are the struggles that you have to go through to achieve those things. It cannot be something that's, I only did this for whatever, for whatever organization, but you need to tell them what prompted you to do that, to accomplish all the things that you have included in your bio. I think that's a really good and important aspect of interviews, interview points that you need to bring on later in your NJKN, because it ties in well doon sa conversation natin on what is the organization actually looking for. And the reason why I am putting an emphasis on this, it's because doon sa latest post ni NJKN, I hope that you can see this in your screens. And let me just read it because may mga gusto kong i-highlight on this post from her. And she says here, I spent time on the plane from Bangkok to New Orleans reading the personal background checks of each delegate. I feel so proud of everyone's profile that you have to come so far to represent your countries with belief, determination, and confidence. I'm honored to see all of you, and I respect our time together at the 71st Miss Universe competition. Thank you, everyone. for being such a great role model. So, yun ang gusto kong i-stress out kasi kung nagba-background check ang organization, ang new owner, if the new owner is spending time to look at your background and checking your profiles in the Miss Universe website or in the Miss Universe app, that is exactly the same thing that the judges will be doing later on. Okay, so you really need to make sure that all bases are covered, because looking at everything that we've discussed on the performance, on the possibility of being the face of a cosmetic brand and everything, you need to be a woman or a candidate, Miss Universe candidate, that covers all bases, whether it's face, performance, it's accomplishments, it's interview and speaking skills. You need to cover all of that. Hindi pwedeng one-sided. You need to be a balance of everything. You need to be strong equally on all points. You may not be the strongest in face, for example, but if you factor in everything else, you still can, be heads above the rest of the competition. So that is why my theory here, or if I'm going to sum up everything that I have discussed, even in the previous live stream session, is that Miss Universe is probably looking for someone who is holistically strong in all fronts. And you need to be able to cover all your bases if you want to become Miss Universe. So that's my read on that. Okay. And again, as I said, if Anne JK and the new owner is looking at and checking your backgrounds and checking if you have accomplishments to talk about, or you have something meaty to say in your profile or in your interviews later on, you really are in a good position to move forward in the competition. So that's my read on that. Okay? Now, basa na tayo ng iba pang mga comments. Okay. Saan na ba tayo? Jim Lazarte. Yes, business is still business. Kaya portfolio is just one part. No matter, we should support our very own. Dami palang unknown, pero ba't ganon tingin mo kay Celeste? So, again, Jim and the rest, Luther and Jeon, I don't know how to explain it to you any more than I've already did in the past and in this live stream. I am only responsible for what I say, not what you understand. So there. Jane Arzadon, Sir Jason, what's your take on Miss Italy? I think Italy is the stylish girl in the competition this year. I am very much impressed with the way she is styled. Kudos to her stylist. I think she every time she does a post on her OOTD, she mentioned her stylist. I think her stylist did a good job, because from the looks of it, she is using Italian designers and branded luxury labels in her entire wardrobe. I am very impressed because she is able to manage to use branded, well-known mga Italian brands and lesser-known Italian designers. So it's a good balance of upcoming and established names. I particularly like yung the sky blue pantsuit that she wore earlier today, because for some weird reason, the embellishments that was used in that pantsuit reminded me of a 1950s, 1960s na Balmain, and a design 2 to 3 years back from Sarah Burton of Alexander McQueen. Ano pa ba? Kent S. No one can predict who will win, as it will really depend on the eyes of the judges who will shine on the coronation night. Mr. Mental says, why not coordinate with other vloggers on a guide to online etiquette and discuss them in all your vlogs? Some Pinoy fans keep making low blows in foreign sites and it doesn't help our candidates. That's the thing kasi, Mr. Mental. I would not be as I don't know, egoist as these some pageant fans are when it comes to, you know, to my role in the pageant industry. I don't think I have the authority to do so, because I believe that if you are of legal age, you should know by now what is considered good etiquette and what is considered, you know, good manners. So it's up to these, you know, fans whether they act entitled, because ultimately it does reflect on them, not on me or not on any other particular person. Okay. Mr. Mental, Curacao is lucky for us. Each time they place, we win. Agree, because in 2015, Canisius Lewis made it in the semis. And then in 2015 and 2018, nanalo tayo. AJ Bai, MUO is really changing. I hope they add more charitable works. Okay, that's a good point to mention there, AJ, kasi sa tingin ko talaga, with new ownership, nagbabago yung, what do you call this? Nagbabago yung direction of what they are looking for in a winner. So we really need to hone in kung ano yung hinahanap ngayon ni AJK, and because for sure, there will be a marked change on the type of girl that the organization is looking for with every change in ownership. Because during the Trump era, especially during the peak Trump era, we've seen, you know, really gorgeous modelist girls make it as winners. By the time in the IMG Endeavor era, suddenly we are looking at winners that are more socially active, someone who has an advocacy to speak of, because Pia have HIV/AIDS, Demi Nell Peters have what's the name? Something to do with, you know, with women empowerment and self-defense. And then Catriona, of course, has young focus, and then Zosie has equal opportunity for women, and Harnaz has menstrual equity. So each of the winners during the IMG period may kanya-kanyang social advocacy thrust. Mr. Mental says, maybe words like credentials, resume, and accomplishment are too patriarchal as a description. I would like to see a woman from the barrios who received no help from male-dominated institutions. That's a good point, actually, Mr. Mental. Very building yourself from ground up na story. And there is one particular candidate that I believe fits that description that you mentioned, and that is Miss Thailand, because as you know, she grew up from poverty to the point na pinatira siya ng kanyang mga parents sa isang Buddhist na monastery, and then she also was a self-made student. She was self-sustaining herself as a student na tipong she was doing modeling on the side so that she has something to use for paying for her tuition fee and like that. And then she was able to graduate with top honors from her university. And now here she is telling the world about her story. And it also helps that her backstory is something na really rags to riches. And it's something I think na you should be boasting about, because from literally walang-wala, ngayon masasabi niya na she has accomplished something for herself and for her family. Dorothy V. Jones, Anne's ownership of Miss Universe would be a good study in business governance. I'm interested in her running this corporation to profit. Again, the mere fact that she was able to illustrate 8 sources of income, whether it's hosting fees, it's production fees, it's endorsement, and sponsorships, and the like. It means that she has something in her mind to turn this pageant around and make it profitable business. So, like you, I think I am also excited na makita if is there something in a woman's leadership that would make the pageant really be more focused on women empowerment, and what they can do to lift each other up in a very male-dominated na society, in a very male patriarchal na society. There. Ping, magandang gabi po. I will repeat later. Thank you, Ping. Thank you for joining us. I think, ano tayo ngayon, medyo naparami na yung mga discuss natin because we started at 7, it's already 8:20, I believe. So, medyo tayo, medyo nakarami na tayo ng mga na-discuss. Daniel P. Yuson Jr. says, I am only responsible for what I say and not what you understand. Diyos ko, loko ka, Daniel. Ang powerful naman ito, sir. Which is exactly, I think that statement, it was actually borrowed from Jack Nicholson. And sabi niya, I think, oh my God, I cannot remember exactly the situation where he mentioned it, but it has something to do with it's not my business what others think of me, but my only business is what I think of them in return. Parang ganon. So parang it's essentially saying that what you can control is what you put out there. What others receive and take in is entirely up to them. And what they talk, what they say about you is not necessarily a reflection of who you are, but rather a reflection of who they are as a person. Because there is what they thing called mirroring, where or projection, where the things that they are, the qualities of people that say something bad about yourself is a reflection of who they are as a person. So there, yeah. Again, check nyo na lang si Jack Nicholson about that because I think he made a very intelligent statement with regards to that. AJ Baay, ako, I get you, Sir Jason. You want a complete package, woman. I think that's what people are missing here. I think the Miss Universe is looking at a completely packaged or a woman, a candidate who is strong in all fronts. Jane Arzadon, Sir Jason, what is the logic? Why all the runners-up will come with the winner in Thailand? That is, at this point, I am just speculating. But my speculation with regards to that is because they need to give importance on the runners-up aside from the winner, so that if in case na for some weird reason hindi mag-work out yung main winner at hindi niya magampanan na maka-earn siya ng money for, again, this is just a theory on my part. Kasi alam naman natin na si Harnaz gained weight. And I think that naisip ng owner na if in case that she cannot make endorsements because of advertisers do not prefer the main winner, at least may mga runners up who can fit in the small pockets of areas where they can have additional income na rin, I suppose. But then again, that is just a assumption from my end. I cannot say for a fact if that is what they are thinking. But for me, I think it has something to do with business. I am hoping though that Anne can shed a light on that because I think it would be more powerful if it came from her. Johan Song says, late na late ako sa live. Better luck next live. Johan Song, don't worry, magkakaroon pa tayo ng live later on this week after the preliminaries. Maghihintay lang kami ng, maghanap lang kami ng lugar ni Mark kung saan kami pwedeng mag-conduct ng live stream. AJ ba ay totoo at Daniel Pius on powerful. Thank you. Dorothy V. Jones, we could use very poor behavior we see in pageantry as an opportunity to learn, to get out of it. Let's not get stuck in that rabbit hole. Again, yes. I think the only way for us to learn something is if somebody points out that we are doing something wrong. And I don't think that there is that should be taken, with hostility in mind. Okay? I think we need to be mature enough at this point in time because we've been placing since 2010. Ang pangit naman tignan na sa tagal-tagal ng panahon, wala na tayong kinatandaan, di ba? Parang, not unless if you are amateur pageant fans, di ba? Ayun, maintindihan ko pa. Okay. Mr. Mental says, a Thai friend told me that it might be more profitable for Anne to convert Miss Universe organization to a charity and let her other business piggyback on it. I don't understand the mechanics though. Mr. Mental, I think your friend has a very nice point because remember Binibining Pilipinas, it is a charity institution and that is why I think they have survived so far. Because essentially, the Araneta group of companies use the Binibining Pilipinas pageant to promote its businesses around Cubao. At the same time, it also becomes a source of funding. Kasi you have Pizza Hut, you have Taco Bell, we have Dairy Queen sponsoring the pageant. So which means that whether or not there are outside, sponsors pouring money into the pageant itself, there is already a veritable group of brands and companies willing to pour money into the pageant, and at the same time, they get a tax. These companies get tax breaks because they are funneling essentially a charitable organization. So that is what makes Binibining Pilipinas a genius in the pageant industry because it doesn't need to overmarket itself, overexert itself to get sponsors because sponsors are ready and available within the Araneta group of companies. So I think that's a very, very smart and intelligent move. Felipa Season, Sir Jason, any thoughts regards on the Philippines, USA, and South Africa? Celeste is one of the most facially stunning girls in the competition. That's definite. I love her body proportions. Even when she was competing in Miss Earth, I think in terms of yung hulma ng katawan, Miss Earth pa lang, kita mo na yung ganda ng proportions ni Celeste. She has really very modest proportions. If you look at her old photos in 2018 when she was competing in Miss Earth, you can immediately see she has long legs, long limbs, very elegant na neckline. The way that her neck slopes to her shoulders, I think that's one of the things why her face is much more focused on because very elegant yung slope na kanyang neckline. Physical wise, I have nothing to complain about Celeste. I also love that from her time from Miss Earth to her time here in Miss Universe, her weakness back then was speaking skills, and nowadays I think she's more comfortable speaking in public. Now with Miss USA, my God, she is a sleeper hit. I think that she is quiet on the side, but she's deadly. I think Arboni is one of the girls that is perfectly on brand with the Miss Universe organization. I think I don't know. Even if there are criticisms with her wardrobe, whether it's too out there minsan, I think that the reasoning behind her wardrobe, the way that she repurposes old clothes into new ones, I think that is commendable. I think that's one of the reasons why we love her, because despite that criticism, where she usually gets overboard with her, fashion projects, it does not deter her from, from speaking her truth with regards to her, sustainability thrust. And aside from that, she also uses these, sewing instructor na background for women to have livelihood who are, victims of domestic abuse. And I think, that in itself is something that should demand admiration and respect, because she's doing something good for her community. With regards to Miss South Africa, I actually have her as one of the standouts in the Portia and Scarlett na videos in their Portia and Scarlett opening dresses. I have 8, tama ba? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lang pala. 7 girls na standouts in that aspect. And I think yung aspeto na yan, makikitaan mo na si Ndavi has a very bubbly, very outgoing personality. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are so in love with this girl. Hindi niya kinakailangan magpapansin, hindi niya kinakailangan mag-ingay. Kusang lumalabas yung personality, the way that she interacts with the camera, the way that she is very genuine with the way she speaks. I really love that aspect of her. So it goes to say that her making our list in the top 7 of the front runners, I think I've put her in my 4th spot. Goes to say that you should never slip. You should never slip on. Saan na ba tayo? 1184 Carl. If the runners-up are contractually obligated in pageants like what Lalela did, I would think so. I would think so, Carl. I also think that pwede rin na dahilan kung bakit they are making the runners-up travel to Thailand and probably have a contractual obligation with the organization is because they don't want another situation when one of their runners-up suddenly leaves and competes in another pageant. That is a more likely scenario na reason why they are, they are booking these runners-up for gigs in Thailand later on. Okay. Sir Jason, if you would add something to all pageants so that they will be relatable and marketable again, I think that would be more PR. Kasi at this point in time, if people don't know what you are up to, people would not care. So you need to be, to be more out there to market yourself and what you do post pageant finals, because I think that is where the misconception comes from, that pageants are just shallow, entertainment-based, objectifying events. If you are able to educate and tell the world, what you do exactly after the pageant is done, and focus on the numerous things that the winner does throughout her reign, I think that's that is something that would make pageants, or rather, that would make people understand more about the notions and the reasons behind supporting a pageant. So, kapag naintindihan nila yung anong yung ginagawa ng pageant after the finals are done, I think that is the more reason that they will start, understanding it a bit more, and perhaps later down the road support it more. Saan na ba tayo? Magmamadali na ako sa mga comments, okay? Medyo mahaba na yung ating live stream. So, Travel Junkie. Hello, Sir Jason. Looks like I'm late. What can you say about Curacao? I feel she's strong given the chance. Yes, ganda ng katawan ni Gabriela. If you've seen her social media na mga post wearing swimsuit, ang ganda ng kurbada ng katawan niya. So I think she would slay parang ang unfair nung winner if magkakasama sila sa isang penthouse or room sa buong rain. And dapat sana yung winner lang yung makakakuha. Tingin ko naman Johansson, yung nabanggit ni Anne was isang buwan lang after the coronation. So I think that's more than enough time naman na if the time frame that they will stay in Thailand is only just a month as compared to let's say the main winner who stays there for a full year. I think that's something na negligible compared to the 1 year. Okay. Now let's just jump into the last point that I want to discuss in today's live stream, and that is the Portia Scarlett dresses. Okay. The standouts that I see in the videos, because there's not a lot of girls who posted their videos. I think in my last count, there were only around 28 girls so far that has posted their or 22. I'm not sure. I think it's within that number. I think it's 22. 22 girls who posted their videos. And their IG reels. And among those girls, the ones that really stood out for me were Puerto Rico. The way that the fan hits her hair and made her hair move around. I think that is one of the reasons why I will love that video of hers, because there was movement. She didn't do extraordinary movements. But allowed the environment to work to her advantage and just focused on her facial expressions. And I think that was a genius move on her, because people were looking at her face more than what she was doing in the video. Next, we have Germany. I think this is where I am not very confident adding her in my list, because I find her video having too much movement. She doesn't need to do that much, especially with a very gorgeous face. Although I understand that because of her wardrobe, she needs to make movements and to make the fringe move in her body. I think that was commendable still. Siguro it was just a personal preference for me to have very little movements, controlled movements for that video. South Africa, I think what made South Africa in our list the top of our list is the fact that she really showed personality. Hindi siya yung very stiff na gumalaw doon sa video. She was smiling, she was channeling different facial vibes. In fact, I was thinking that kung ipikit ko ng konti yung mata ko and squint, I might be seeing like a Diana Ross movement in that video of hers. I love the fact that she's one of the girls who really sported that big afro hair. I really love it on her. I'm hoping that she uses that on the prelims and finals as well, kasi I don't think that she would have a huge impact wearing straight or loose curls for the competition. USA was a standout. I love her very sultry facial expressions in that video. It was not overdone, or it was not lacking in terms of the way that she connects with the camera or pulls you in with her magnetism. Colombia is one of the beautiful faces in the entire Portia and Rossi dresses that I've seen so far. My only criticism for her was that at this point in time, I find her chin a little too pointy. I don't know if pinagalaw niya yon or she had implants, but it looked I don't know. It looked too pointy on the video. This is not the kind of mafe that I was looking at, when she was Señorita Colombia. She was, I believe that her face then was not too manufactured. It was more raw. However, looking at the video, I think there was at some point in the video that I was suddenly thinking that she could pass off like a younger sister of Mariana Bencomo, who was Miss Universe first runner-up in 1997. Runner-up siya ni Brooke Mahea ni Lily. And I think maybe that is the kind of vibes that they are looking for. Italy was a standout because of the face. I am not necessarily very happy with how her video lacked movement. I think she could have done more with her body. Medyo stiff yung register niya doon sa video niya. And then for the biggest standout, undeniably very charming, very energetic. It was Miss Venezuela. Amanda was so perfect in that video. Small movements, controlled movements, but it looked so natural on the video. It didn't look like it was too contrived. It didn't look like masyadong maraming rekado. It looked like effortless, very natural, very effortless, very effervescent yung aura niya in that video. Like she was just enjoying and having fun for that video shoot. And I think that was really what made her stand out among all the candidates. Portia and Rossi dresses na video. So there. Let me see if mayroon pang mga comments. I think we're done with the comments. I think a lot of the comments has been read. Sorry if I had to skip several mga comments because I really wanted to make sure that all the points that I have listed in my notebook is tackled for this evening. Ayan. I think we did an overtime because I usually only have like so I am very thankful for everyone who stuck around, who watched from beginning to end, and for those mga fans who commented with respect and with intelligence and maturity. So thank you very much for your support and your presence in this live stream. Thank you very much talaga. I hope that for those who are new to the channel, you would like and subscribe in our channel and hit the like button in this live stream or share it with your friends. I hope that we can grow the community together here in YouTube as much as we've grown in our blog and in our social media feeds. In our blog, I think we already passed around 16,000 subscribers on our blog. In YouTube, I think we're already at 4,300 something. In our Facebook, we are at 26,000 or approaching that number. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you very much for your support. And I hope that we can grow our channels, our different channels together. So ayan, thank you very much for everyone who have been supportive of me throughout my YouTube journey, because it's not easy jumping from writing, which I am more at home with and accustomed to being in front of the camera and talking to everyone, because that has always been a fear of mine, because as I said multiple times in the past, I grew up with a stutter growing up, so I have never been as that confident talking in front of a camera. So anyway, thank you very much talaga for your support. Thank you again also AJ for being supportive of us in our multiple platforms. So thank you very much for joining, and I hope to see you again in our next live, probably after the preliminaries. I will make an announcement on my social media channels later on with regards to what time we will go live. Okay. Have a nice evening, everyone, for everyone here in the Philippines and the rest of Asia, and for everyone who is in the other side of the world. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Hope everyone will have a nice day ahead of you. Okay? Thank you very much, and see you again soon. Bye, everyone.